So, had some time to think about what I'm gonna do because my counselor obviously did not call me yesterday. Or if he did, there was technical issues and I couldn't hear him on the other line and he's the one who hung up. But I was pretty sure that was a spam call. Could have been him, but either way, the situation is either I waited a month for a free person to phone me and help me or set me on the right path at least, and they either had basic phone call technical issues or he didn't call me, which left me basically feeling so invalidated about this. And I don't know if you noticed from previous videos, but I was already feeling kind of invalidated because I was like, well, I'm not having as bad of issues as before and I'm doing better and maybe I don't need counseling. And I've basically spent the day talking to my support system of my family and watching videos, and I found one particular woman whose name is Katie Morton on YouTube. Oh my gosh, she's great. She's awesome. She's an actual doctor and she's specialized in eating disorders for years, and she has so many videos on so many different problems. But watching her made me remember I am validated if I fit the criteria. My doctor says that I fit the criteria, and I'm feeling bad about it. I need help, and I should have access to help. So basically, decided that if the counselor calls tomorrow, or the therapist, or whatever he is, the free guy from my doctor's clinic, if he calls tomorrow, I will definitely talk to him because I understand COVID, I understand Christmas break, I understand all sorts of issues could happen. But I also need to look at alternatives. And again, I do have medical coverage through my work, and I live in Canada, so getting coverage is way easier than I know it is in the States. Sorry, guys. But I wanted to go over some of the stuff that Katie said in one of her videos that just reminded me exactly what binge eating is and the warning signs for binge eating. So there's the first one she talks about is thoughts shift to food and you start obsessing over food. So you start doing things like hiding food. I've done that. Having only healthy food around. You want to get rid of all other food. You can only have healthy food around you. You might even get upset if people bring unhealthy food into the house. You start restricting your food and then binging your food. You're thinking about over-exercising, or you're always thinking about your next meal and how it's going to be perfect. You're planning your whole entire life around food in a negative way. You use food to reward and punish yourself. And this was a huge one for me. So it was already the first one. I definitely hide my food. I used to do restrict and binge all the time. I always thought of exercising, and then this past year I started having thoughts of binging, which I didn't do, or not binging, but purging, which I didn't do, but I always had thoughts of it. And then for a long time now, I've always had just healthy food around. There's never been something I like in my house. So that's all the first one. I definitely have that issue. Foods to reward and punish? Yeah. If I have a good day, I eat food. If I have a bad day, I eat food to make myself feel better. If I get a good mark, I get a treat. If I get my driver's license, I got a treat. If it's payday, I get a treat. I could make up a million rewards. Today, my reward was that I did all my stuff on my to-do list, and I felt so good about it. And so I had junk food because I felt really good about it, and I was tired. But then I'm kind of well, I can't reward myself for basic adult functioning and doing my job. It's not like I did anything crazy hard today. I didn't break any new records. I didn't do anything extra stressful. I didn't even work really hard at stopping binge eating this morning when I had more junk food. And I rewarded myself this morning before even starting work. I was like, I'm going to get my favorite meal because I have to work today. And it was definitely overeating too much food. And this kind of blew my mind because I've never had this happen. Apparently people can eat what they're craving when they crave it and then just get over it. If they're craving a cookie, they eat a cookie, and then they're no longer craving a cookie. I don't think I've had that since junior high. If I'm craving a Coke, I'm having a 2-liter bottle of Coke quickly. If I'm craving soup, I'm having 6 to 7 cans of soup. I'm craving McDonald's, it's not like I'm gonna have 4 chicken nuggets. No, I'm gonna have 10 chicken nuggets. And I'm still gonna want more after that, even if I feel terrible. So, like, this might be an end goal, long-term dream to be able to crave something, have it in the house, and eat it, and then be fine. Because that would just be amazing. I think that would totally change the world. Um, things like you're taking a long time to figure out what to eat. And I know girls are always made fun of taking a long time to figure out what to eat. But I mean, like, I know what I want to eat, but I ask my friends for their opinion on what I should eat. And then I don't listen. Like, my friend today was like, you should have soup. And I was like, yeah, you said KFC, right? But I just need, like, the validation, and I need to really consider what I'm eating all the time. And I kind of try and justify it to myself. Withholding food and making yourself sick is also part of the second one. And I've definitely withheld food for myself. Not necessarily meals, but I've withheld food in the sense that, like, no, I can't have McDonald's today, or I can't have that one drink that I want, which leads me to binge. One of the big ones for me is I'll often be like, I can't go to the store and get a bottle of pop. And then I think that to myself all day, and then by the end of the day, I'm going to the store for a bottle of pop, a bag of chips, like 6 cans of Chef Boyardee. When I could have just went and got a pop and come back, and everything would have been just fine. The third thing she warns about a sign is food above all else. So I really started to think about this one because I have, especially in university, I've put food before school. Like, I've skipped school to go eat. I've put food before my relationship. Like, I've had one long-term relationship my whole life, and I put food before that. Including to the point, like, drinking a milkshake when I know I'm lactose intolerant because I wanted the milkshake more than I wanted to be near the date that I was having. Putting food before my family because I want to make sure that I've had enough food before I go visit with somebody. Which kind of goes with hiding my food because I've started to hide my food from my family and hide eating from my family. So then I want to isolate and get away from them to make up for the food that I haven't eaten. I've also definitely put food before work and been like, I've gone for lunch breaks and been like, it's fine, I can eat more even though I know I have to be leaving to go to work. And those are all signs that something else is going on, you just don't have a coping skill for it. So I'll talk about that a little bit about, like, what I think is going on in my life because I've written it all down, and what my triggers are and stuff. Get in fights over food. I used to fight with my dad all the time over food, like crazy amounts fight with my dad over food. He'd be like, maybe you shouldn't be eating that, and I would yell right back. And that was usually when I was a teenager, early 20s. I'm like, I'm an adult, I can eat what I want. When really he was just trying to be like, you should be a little healthier. What are you doing? Or I get upset over food. And there's one moment I remember when I was a teenager, like junior high. And I do wonder if some of my eating disorders started in junior high and I just didn't know what it was and didn't have any methods, and maybe it was just starting, so it wasn't a big deal. But I remember once I came home, my dad had made chicken, and I cried because I didn't want chicken, I wanted something else. Hiding your eating is the fourth one she talks about, and of course, as I said, I hide my eating to the point where, like, when I lived with my dad, I would hide my food up in my room. I would make sure that he left the house to go heat it up. Not like he went to a different room. No, he had to leave the house. And I would heat it up, and I had to eat it all and throw it out in my bathroom, and then make sure that I got to take out the big garbage because I had to take all my evidence and put it into the big garbage and then take it out. So yeah, hiding my food, hiding my garbage. I would do my dishes and rinse them out so he couldn't tell what I had to eat. And this isn't because my dad was like yelling at me every day about food. It wasn't because he was judging everything about food. But I had this perception that he was. And to this day, I still do some of this stuff. I throw my junk food into the big garbage instead of the garbage other people might see if they're in my kitchen. I still put food in different spots. Like you'll find a junk food stash in a different spot of my house because I'm like, well, I can't put it in the pantry. People will know. I live alone. This is insanity. Getting upset with others about food, definitely been there. Not always vocal. I'm not very vocal when I'm upset, but in my head, I'm pissed, or I'm upset, or I'm like ready to cry about food. And number 5, the biggest one for binge eating is you feel compelled to eat. Compelled, like somebody else is doing this to you. Somebody else is in control of your body. Um, Even when your brain is telling you to stop, when you know what you're doing isn't what you want to be doing, you know that that milkshake's going to make you feel like crap, you know that that food's going to make you sick, you still eat it. And even when you're like, oh my God, I'm getting so full, you still keep eating. And that's the biggest one. You feel so compelled. And I don't have that moment of like, I've had that. Obviously, I've talked about that's one of the number one reasons I went to my doctor because it scared me to feel that out of control. But now I don't feel that when I'm eating as much. I feel it when I'm preparing to eat, which is weird. Like I said, I went to the store the other day knowing I shouldn't be doing this, talking to myself for the whole 15-minute walk and the store and the 15-minute walk back. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't eat this. I shouldn't do that. What am I doing? I should stop. And then I still did exactly what I was thinking, and that's part of this. And one of the other things is when people say eating disorder and just don't eat that, or oh, maybe you should like try eating like this or try eating this. It's not about the food. Eating disorder is not all about the food. Something else is happening. There's some other trigger. There's something else our brains are not processing because it's a mental disorder. And that's what I need a therapist for. Because right now my steps are great. They're trying to help me learn to control that food again. But I don't feel like we're getting to the root of any issue. I'm kind of doing that myself by watching what other people say and do, which I'm going to talk about in my next video, all about coping and some of the triggers I think I'm struggling with right now.